All right. So today is April 11th, and I'm going to start with just making sure that we all understand the importance of our Young Ameritown assignments. You cannot show up on April 30th and have not done these assignments. If you show up on April 30th to the field trip, um, well, actually, let me back up a little bit. If you show up next week to your interview, and then April 24th and 25th for your job training and group meetings, and you don't know what you're doing, it's going to look really bad for our school. It's going to reflect poorly on you as fifth graders, and we're just going to end up being embarrassed. So let me just make sure that we all know exactly where these assignments are. And I'm not going to assign as much work in your Lincoln curriculum next week, just so I could give all of you a chance to catch up because you guys are kind of a little bit behind, I would say, is the nice way to put it, I guess. So let's scroll down here, go to your homeroom page, and you're going to notice that obviously it is week 30, but your jobs in Young Ameritown did not start in week 30. Oops, there's week 31. That's next week. Your jobs for Young Ameritown started way back in week 26. So some of you have a lot of making up to do. I'm aware that there's a couple students who don't actually take, social studies with our group, but you still have to do these assignments in order to understand what you're doing. Okay, but most of us do take social studies with our school, and you need to turn these in for your grade, and that includes you, Nicholas, and Autumn. Sorry, maybe I lied. Maybe it's week 27 that it starts.
Yeah, I think it's week 27.
Yeah, week 27 starts all of your Young Ameritown assignments. So obviously over here is where you can find your chapter titles on Young Ameritown, okay? All right, so let's just make sure that that you start back at week 27 and you go through everything and make sure that you are caught up. Like I said, this is week 30 already, but it started back in week 27, and those very beginning lessons are still very important. So you have to go all the way through them. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, guys. Well, enough about Young Ameritown. Josh, I am anxiously awaiting your job application. Can't wait to get that. Let's jump into multiplying fractions. Today, we're going to practice multiplying fractions and a little bit of division with fractions. All right, so, oh, darn, I should have stayed signed in to Brain Pop. Darn it. And Nicholas, you showed up just a couple minutes late. I just wanted to let you know that we might end a little early today, and I'm going to be multitasking because I'm talking to the teachers from Lone Tree Elementary through the chat right now, and we are going through all of your job applications, and we are kind of putting you into groups to figure out like which interviews you're going to be doing next week. Because your interviews are kind of different based on which jobs you're applying for and that kind of thing. So, all right. And we are studying multiplying fractions. You're multiplying fractions by whole numbers as well as mixed numbers. And we will do both today. Multiplying fractions is super fun and easy. Okay. All right, we don't care about adding and subtracting fractions anymore. I actually think adding and subtracting fractions is harder because you have to worry about the common denominators.
Yeah.
Yeah. But multiplying fractions, you don't have to worry about common denominators or anything else.
Ew, how'd that get in there? Dear Tim and Moby, how do you multiply and divide fractions? From Joe. You're in luck, Joe. We're gonna have to multiply fractions to get a brownie baking mess. Okay, we're baking for 40 people. Better not be as bad as it sounds. Well, 1½ kilograms of brownie mix will make enough brownies for 10 people. So, how many kilos of that mix will we need for 40 people? 40 tenths times 1½ We can reduce that first part to make it easier. 40 divided by 10 is the same as 4 over 1. Let's get that 1 and 1½ out of its mixed number form. 1 times 2 halves equals 2 halves, plus 1½ is 3 halves. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators and denominators separately. 4 times 3 equals 12, and 1 times 2 equals 2. 12 halves is 6. So we need 6 kilograms of brownie mix. You need that in grams. Okay. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So we can multiply 1,000 by 6 pretty easily to get 6,000 grams. But I just told you. Okay, fine. I'll show you how to do it by dividing fractions. We'll start with our original fraction, 12 divided by 2. Now, to figure out how many grams that is, you can divide by the fraction 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its multiplicative inverse. That's math speak for an upside-down fraction.
All right, and we call the multiplicative inverse multiplying by the reciprocal number. So you're going to see either called multiplicative inverse or reciprocal number.
To get that, you just flip it. 12 times 1,000 is 12,000. 2 times 1 is 2. And 12,000 halves equals 6,000. All right, Moby, it's confirmed we need 6,000 grams of brownie mix. You can't just quit. This was your idea.
All right, pretty easy stuff. We are going to go ahead and actually skip right ahead. Oops. Sorry about that. We're going to skip right ahead to, why is it not letting me minimize this? To practicing. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Practicing multiplying and dividing fractions. So,
ew, how'd that get in there?
Why are we still going, Brain
Dear
Pop?
Tim and Moby,
Stop.
how do you...
Sorry. All right, here we go. So make sure you have your pencil ready. And let's try our first problem. Okay, multiplying fractions by whole numbers. Pretty easy stuff. All you need to do is put a 1 underneath the 9. All right. Okay, I'm going to pull up my sketch pad. And when you get an answer, go ahead and type it into the chat. Okay. All right, so let me wipe this clean. Sorry. All right, Nicholas, so that is correct, but I would like you to show me the reduced form. Can you do that? So, very nice, Autumn. Okay, so let's see. Autumn, while I'm writing this down, can you talk us through this problem? Like, what was your first step? Oops, and let me turn on your microphone, Autumn. I was getting some feedback, so I turned you off. Go ahead, Autumn.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna times 9 times 1 and 2 times 9.
Okay, perfect. So notice how I just took this whole number and all I did was put a 1 underneath it so that it's easier to just go straight across. But do I leave my fraction in this format?
No.
No, I don't leave it in improper form. So what did you do to change it?
All I did was I said, what does 8 divided by 9? And it's 2.
18
So
divided
that's
by...
how I got my answer.
That's right. So how many groups of 9 fit into 18?
18, sorry.
Yeah, that's
I might
okay.
have said 8.
Yeah, that's all right. And very good. So that one was a super easy starter problem. All right. Here we go. 3 times 2/3. These are going to start becoming mental math, I promise. 3 times 2/3. So go ahead and put the 1 underneath the 3 so that you're able to multiply straight across. All right. Let me take a picture of this one. So Jacob, I know you came in a couple minutes late. We are just multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is actually a lot easier, I think, than adding and subtracting fractions because you don't have to worry about changing the denominators. All you do is multiply straight across. And notice how this whole number, I just put a 1 underneath it so that it's easier to look at it like a fraction, like the 2/3 fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. But this is in improper form, so I ask myself how many groups of 3 fit into 6? And my final answer, the reduced form, would be 2. Okay, give me a thumbs up if or a happy face into the chat if this is super easy and you want to move on. Okay, I agree. Multiplying by fractions, I really think is, I don't know, like way easier than adding and subtracting. So we will get to slightly harder problems. So this is just a fraction by a fraction. Go ahead, Nicholas. Let me turn on your microphones. Go ahead.
So you can, the way you can simplify is find the greatest common factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Jacob wanted to know, and we let's go back to my sketch pad. Maybe Nicholas, you would like to explain this to him. He wanted to know, like, when we got our answer here, 6/3, how did I come up with making that into a 2? So what was my process of changing this improper fraction back into a whole number?
Well, you could find what the greatest factor they both have is, and then divide it by that, and then you would get 2/1.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's one way of thinking about it. The greatest factor that they both share is 3. So if I divide both numbers by 3, I would get 2/1. And you don't have to say 2/1. That's just the same exact thing as saying 2. So writing 2/1 is just an extra step. So let's just write 2. I always think about it as I look at the denominator and I say, how many groups of the denominator will fit into the numerator? So how many 3s will fit into a 6? And 2. Okay, pretty easy stuff. Now this one's pretty easy too. When you are multiplying fractions that look like this, you simply go straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is?
16.
Good. So your answer would be 1/16. Okay.
Weird.
All right, now go straight across again. What's 1 times 1? 1. And then what's 2 times 4?
8.
8. Good. So what's your answer?
1/8.
1/8. Okay. This is
2/16.
easy. Yay!
4/32.
All right. This should be getting quicker. 1/5?
150.
Yes, 1/15. Beautiful.
1/15.
Perfect. Jacob, how's that? Yep, you got it. Good. I was waiting for that into the chat. Perfect. Okay, last one of this easy stuff. 1 times
125.
yeah, 125th.
125th.
Perfect. See how easy multiplying fractions is? I don't know. It's just really quick.
135th.
135th. Perfect. Slightly harder, but not really, is division with fractions. So let's go there. All right, so we have this whole number and then divided by 1/4. Let me just pull up my sketch pad and wipe this all clean. Jacob, why don't you type that into, while I'm wiping this clean, why don't you type that into the chat for somebody else to answer? Like one of your 5th grade buddies.
8.
Okay, so here we go. Let's just rewrite it as 2/1 divided by 1/4. So now, as Moby and Tim were saying, they call this the inverse multiple. I call it multiplying by the reciprocal. Same thing. So you're going to change this problem to 2/1 times 4/1. So Jacob, notice what I just did. All I did was flip this
8.
second number. So what's your answer, everyone?
8.
8. Okay, do I really need to write 8/1? I don't think so. Just write 8. Okay, 2 divided by 2/5. I'm going to wipe this clean and I will rewrite it. Okay, 2 divided by 2/5. Do I have a brave 5th grader to walk me through the steps on this problem? Okay, Nicholas, go for it.
So you would put a 1 below the 2,
Perfect.
the whole 2,
Okay.
and then you would put the 5 above and the 2 down below.
Good, and I changed it to multiplication. That's your, because there's no way to divide a fraction. You have to change it to a multiplication problem. But when you change it to a multiplication problem, you can't forget to flip the 5 and the 2. Okay, so now what's my next step, Nicholas?
You multiply straight across.
Good. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 1 times 2 is 2.
10.
But now we know,
5.
yep, we don't leave it in improper form. We ask ourselves, how many times does 2 go into 10? Your answer is 5. Okay, thumbs up if this is making sense. Yay. Pretty easy stuff. So let's just stop for a second. And Jacob has asked, what lesson are you all working on in Blackboard? So who can tell him? Yeah, go ahead, Autumn.
Well, for this week, it's 6 through 8.
Yeah, 6 through 8. So what unit? Unit 3, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next week, it looks like you'll be having your test, actually, because you'll finish up with lessons 9 and 10, and that always includes the test at the end. So does that answer your problem, Jacob? I hope so. Okay, so I'm not going to show this one. I would like you guys to try this one on your own. 2 divided by 4/5. When you get an answer, type it into the chat. Josh, I haven't heard from you much. Maybe you would like to definitely type your answer in. Okay, so I'm just waiting for a couple more people. I'm going to start writing it the way that I would rewrite this problem. Jacob, the only thing you need to do to change 2 into a fraction is just put a 1 underneath it. That's it. Okay, so I'm to my second step. So how many people have rewritten it like this? 2 over 1 times 5/4. Very good. Go ahead, Autumn. Take me through the rest.
Okay, what you're going to do is 2 times 5,
Uh-huh.
which equals 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 times 4, which equals 4.
Beautiful. Now, I cannot leave it in improper fraction, but here's the problem. 4 does not go into 10 equally. So how many times does 4 go into 10, and then what will be left over?
8
Good.
and 2.
Good. Yes. So 4 goes into 10 2 times, and that is 8. And then what's left over? 2. But this can be reduced, right? To 2 and
1/2.
2 and 1/2. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So let me type in 2 and 1/2. I hope that's how they want me to answer it. Oh, we'll see. It is correct, but they thought I said 21. No, I didn't. I said 2.5.
They thought you said 21 halves.
Yeah, they thought I said, yeah, I guess I should have put a space. I don't know. But we got it right. See, there it is, 2.5. So Jacob, you are maybe wanting us to slow down a little bit. So instead of my sloppy writing, let's look at the computer's neat writing. 2 over 1 divided by 4/5 is the same problem as saying 2 over 1 times 5/4. Okay? Notice how they just flipped that second number and changed it to multiplication. So, Jacob, you're asking how do you divide then multiply? You never divide a fraction. You always have to change it into a multiplication problem. There is no way to divide a fraction. You have to change the problem. And when you change the problem to multiplication, you flip that second number. Okay, you flip the numerator and denominator. So then when you multiply, you end up with, yes, 5/2, but that can be reduced to 2.5. Okay, so let's try another one. 2 divided by 1/3. Okay, so everybody is working that problem out right now. Josh, I'd really like to hear from you. I'm going to rewrite it for you. So Jacob, like I just said, you never divide fractions. I have to change this problem to multiplication. When I change it, I make sure that I flip the numerator and denominator. Okay, so that might change your answer now, Jacob. Very nice, Autumn. Good work. Flip just means I'm changing the place of the numerator and denominator. See how the 3 is on top now instead of on bottom? So Josh, what is 2 times 3?
5.
2 times 3 is actually 6. So, and then 1 times, yeah, then 1 times 1 is, of course, 1. We don't even need to write this part, so your final answer is 6. Perfect. Good job, Jacob. All right, one more. 2 divided by 2/3. Okay, so 2 divided by, come on, 2/3. Remember, now I have to change this multiplication or change this problem into a multiplication problem. And when I do that, I flip the numerator and denominator of the second fraction. That's right, Jacob. 6/2 is correct, but I need to take it a step further. And
3.
yes, in simplify, ask yourself, how many times does 2 go into 6?
3.
Beautiful. That's your final answer. Josh, how are you doing? Type a happy face or sad face or whatever into the chat. Good, Jacob. I'm glad you're getting it now. We are going to practice with, that was with whole numbers. Okay, so Josh is saying at sign. I'm not sure what at means. Okay, a couple more practice problems with fractions and fractions. I'll just do this first one with you. It really is basically the exact same process. Okay, so I'm going to change this problem to say 2/3 times, instead of dividing by 2/3, I'm going to multiply by 3/2. See how I just changed the numerator and denominator? Okay, so now it goes straight across. 2 times 3 is 6. 3, exactly. 6 can be reduced to 1. Okay, Jacob, why don't you type your question to the whole group, and let's see who can respond. Those of you who are ready can start working on this problem. You only flip the second fraction. The second fraction. So this problem will become 4/7 times 7/4. Beautiful, Nicholas. You were able to recognize that right away. Looks like you're feeling kind of sick, Nick. Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you have a cold? Nicholas, I think that you and Autumn totally understand this. So if you guys want to go for now, you are more than welcome to go and get started on some of those Young Ameritown lessons that you guys are maybe still needing to turn in, okay?
Okay.
All right, you guys did fantastic today.
Turn in the American lessons.
Yeah. All right. So, Jacob, don't you leave. Let me just recap for Josh and anybody else who doesn't know where to turn in your lessons. And Josh, this only applies for your job application, but since you don't actually take social studies with our school. But the thing about it is, Josh, you still have to do these lessons even if you don't turn them in, because I need to make sure that you understand the concepts, because showing up to the field trip and not understanding it will be embarrassing for everyone. Okay, so in week 27, that's where your young, bye, Nick, Autumn, if you know where to turn things in. Week 27 is where we started our lessons. There are no drop boxes, so there was nothing to upload that particular week. Week 28, obviously there's more lessons. Look at all of the drop boxes for Young Ameritown lessons in week 28. There are 3 things here that should have been turned in that week. Does that make sense, Nick? Okay, good. Week 29, that was last week. So I think there were more drop boxes in week 29. There sure were. There were a ton of drop boxes for week 29. Okay, that was last week. So and Nick, I did get your job application. Great job. Josh, this is where you upload your job application. I need it like now. Okay. And then, of course, we are on week 30 right now. So anything that you are behind on, that's where you need to go back to is week 27 and start catching up, okay? And yes, Jacob, I got yours. You are good to go. All right. So Nicholas, you are good with math. I'll let you go so that you can work on some of your catching up, okay?
And how do we upload brain pop sheets? Do we just
Yeah, most of your quizzes, you send the results, you email the results to me. But there was one sheet that was like a worksheet from Brain Pop, that you had to print out. I don't remember exactly, but it told you in the assignment, what it was called, and you had to print it out. Most of the quizzes, you emailed me the results, but that was one page that you had to print out. So, okay.
Okay.
All right, Nick, feel better, and I will see you on Monday. And Nicholas, don't forget, on Monday you need to have your folklore assignment done. Did you watch the
Yeah, I
VC?
need to watch that VC.
Okay, good. Well, it's posted, so go ahead and watch it. All right. See you later, Nick. Bye. Okay, so we are left with Josh and Jacob. Um, how are you guys feeling about multiplying and dividing fractions? Josh, speak up. I didn't hear you. Good. Okay. Well, then let's do one more together just as kind of a check of your understanding, just to make sure. And if we get the correct answer for this one, then you guys will be free to go for the day. Okay, so 5/2 divided by 1/2. Go ahead and type it into the chat when you have an answer. Okay, Jacob, don't leave it an improper fraction. Change that to a mixed number. Josh, are you working on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Jacob got this far. Josh, are you this far? Okay. So Josh, what's my next step? I don't want to leave this as an improper fraction. So what do I have to do?
Multiply 5 by 2.
Okay, well, we've already done that. Yes, we've multiplied 5 by 2 and we got 10. And then we multiplied 7 by 1 and we got 7. This is called an improper fraction. I need to change it into a mixed number by simplifying. So I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 7 fit into 10? How many times, guys? 7 fits into 10 once. And what would be left over? 3. Because 10 minus 7 is 3, right? And then you just leave that denominator the same. You leave it as a 7, okay? So do you guys remember when I was showing you magic circle time and if you want to check your work to see if this mixed number is correct? Do you remember magic circle time? Magic circle time is a way to check. So 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 equals 10, and then you leave your denominator the same. And so I just checked my work to make sure that I got those correct. And there you go. We did. Okay, let's do one more. Okay. All right. 1/5 times 1/3. I'm sorry, divided by 1/3. Okay, Josh, I'm waiting for you this time. Josh, what do I need to do to this next to the rest of the problem so I'm able to actually work it out? I need to change this to
Multiply.
good. And then what do I need to change 1/3 to?
3, 1.
3 over 1. Perfect. Then 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 1 is 5. And Jacob, this is in simplest form, so you don't have to do anything to it. So then you are perfect, and that is your answer. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Jacob saying awesome. Josh, did that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, do this one quickly. Oh, this one's pretty easy. Jacob, that is correct. Your answer is 1. You should be able to recognize if you just flip these numbers and multiply, you're going to end up, yes, getting a 42 over 42, which is reduced to 1. Perfect. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go a little bit early today because, like I was saying earlier, I am chatting right now with some of the 5th grade teachers from Lone Tree Elementary talking about your job interviews for next week. So everybody planning on being at Cantrail next Wednesday at 1:45? Yes! Yay! And you're going to bring that yellow checkbook that I accidentally sent you a couple weeks ago, I hope. Bring that with you. And Jacob, you did great. Yes, on your job application as well, if that's what you were talking about. So, Josh, can you upload your job application for me today? Like soon? Okay, he's gone. All right, Jacob, I'll see you later. See you Monday. Bye.